Hey, good morning, Margareta. How you doing?
Hi, Jim. I'm well, and how about you?
Doing great,
How
doing
are you
great.
today?
I'm doing well. It's a Friday, and I'm in Florida, and it's sunny. It can't get better than this, So, yeah. Hey, look, thanks for
I
joining
agree.
today. Right, I wanted to do something because I read your draft white paper a couple days ago about unleashing the power of RPA across the U.S. economy, and it's exceptionally well written. And there's some huge points in there that I think people are really going to get a lot out of. Can you tell me real quick what made you think about this particular topic?
Thank you, Jim. So this has been on my mind for quite a while, in the sense that we know to some extent the power of automation, but the power of automation is really much more than we can envision and grasp right now. And sometimes we tend to focus on the use cases rather than the big picture. What I wanted to explore in this white paper, and the elements that I looked at are a bit more societal. So looking at what humanity is currently experiencing right now, and thinking about how RPA and how automation and what we do can give a helping hand and can contribute to this whole difficult situation that we as humans, but also as companies and as organizations, both private and public, are facing. So the three elements that I thought about was: one, businesses, whether they're small or larger enterprises, including nonprofits. How can RPA help them? And this is, this has been already proven by now a number of times. So we can help businesses in the private sector by increasing their efficiency, boosting their operations, and especially during this time, we can increase the resilience. We can deploy digital assistants, digital robots to help the human workforce navigate this current uncertain climate, and also help build a more resilient future. And thinking about how we can increase our virtual workforce to speed up the recovery and to gain more resources in the near future. That was the first idea that I had. And now thinking about the public sector and all the important work that the public sector institutions are currently carrying out, our robots have proved essential in this period, helping the public sector workforce handling unprecedented requests, whether we're talking about the requests under the stimulus packages, or just other types of requests that the public sector workers has to handle. In this current climate, it was unimaginable to think that the workforce can do all that work in such a short time in order to pay the money to the citizens in the time that they need, to businesses, to be there for nurses and medical doctors in the healthcare industry, in order to focus on the patient rather than the paperwork, right? So eliminating the paperwork in that specific scenario, I think it's something very, very valuable. So we're giving that return on time. In the public sector right now, it's really important. And obviously, we can also think about the larger piece, that the larger digital transformation journey that we are helping, to enable. Um, but boosting productivity, increasing the resources, helping with the return on time, and with new resources, it's extremely important in the public sector right now. And this is what I wanted to highlight: how RPA can really play, an important role in giving that level of support. The third point that I wanted to elaborate more is the future of work, because the future of work is now, and it hit us very, very hard in a very short time. We have adopted digital technologies at an unprecedented speed. We have we have made transactions online at unprecedented levels. But what we do right now, what we do right now is also important for the current and the future workforce in terms of digital skills. So I really wanted to portray and to explain how RPA can support the workforce in gaining a new set of skills through training and education, and through the self-led learning academy, through academic alliance, through all the programs that companies such as UiPath are developing, because we are not alone in this. Industry are doing so many things right now to support this new type of training, to become more closer to the workforce. So nano degrees, industry degrees, certifications, they're so important right now. And you can think about the fact that if you don't want to go to college, you can think about having an industry degree, and it might just be the right thing for you to do. If you're at a university, you can also think about how to use automation, because you might become, it might become important in your job. So knowing exactly how to handle automation and RPA can be very important.
Perfect. Hey, listen, the way I read this thing is I read it as, we want to flatten the curve of work, and robotics is going to allow us to flatten that curve. The agencies all across the government, regardless of which government you're talking about, they always have backlog. They always have citizens who want services better. And now that people are getting into the digital age where they expect their Ubers, they expect to order their meals and have them delivered, they expect to do their own travel agency by ordering tickets, they're going to expect that from their government. And so I think that the retraining and reskilling that we're seeing in the US federal government is in your paper with respect to the value of retraining and reskilling. And I think you're spot on with that future of work. But tell me, people who go to your landing page and look at this, what are the three major points there that they want to come away with? What's A, B, and C from this paper?
Thank you, Jim. So the three main parts are actually how government can benefit from a technology like RPA. So I want to explain how this technology can really support different types of objectives. So the first objective would be supporting businesses, and RPA can do that. We just explained how. RPA can support the government to become more efficient, to streamline their processes, to become nearer to the citizen. We can do that, and we are explaining how. And RPA provides the opportunities for upskilling and reskilling and training and lifelong learning. We're also explaining how to achieve that.
Yeah, I like the lifelong learning. I read a book, I think it was called Thanks for Being Late. And the theme in there was around technology and how it's starting to accelerate us. And lifelong learners are the people who are really going to start to get ahead, because the world just changes every 3 to 5 years. And so, this whole topic around lifelong learning is important. So let me ask you, as kind of a wrap up for us, in your head, what do you think is the next thing you want to write? Because I've seen a lot of your stuff. It's always well done. This is exceptionally well done. What are you thinking about for the next thing to write about?
Thank you, Jim. So I think as I was also talking to other peers about this paper, I think it's a really, it talks about things that we can elaborate more on. So maybe we can think about a more focused piece on the future of work, and we can talk about that. We can also bring new ideas into the discussion. We can elaborate on government, or we can elaborate on businesses. So it's basically, I think this paper just gives the big picture, and then it allows us to go a bit more in depth.
Super. Great. Hey, listen, I just watched on Netflix a couple of weeks ago this thing called Untamed Romania. It talks about Romania and that the wilderness areas of it, and also if we don't get through with COVID for any other reason, is I know last weekend you went to the mountains. I want you to show me some of this Untamed Romania, because it's some beautiful countryside. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. You should have told me, because I would have put a different background with some mountains and or the UiPath team, but we'll save that for another time, Jim. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for joining me.
Of course.